Oh! Ah! 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 What's up, chat? BB should grow his hair out and style it into a top knot. You know what we call that in 2025? That's called a fucking man bun. In fact, I don't know if that we even call that in 2025. That's what we called it like back in 2000 and, I don't know, 18 or something. It's a cringe soy boy hairstyle. You know, there's some hairstyles where, like, you just know that whoever has that hairstyle is someone you should stay away from. Because the type of clothing you wear and, like, what kind of hair you have, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be fashionable, but there's, like, a certain standard for what it means to be, like, an acceptable human in society. So, like, if you see someone that's wearing, like, a bunch of garbage bags, you're like, okay, that's like a homeless meth head. I'm gonna avoid them. Similarly, if you see someone with a fucking man bun, it's probably a pathetic, toxic Brooklyn soy boy Starbucks barista or something, and you just, you don't want to deal with them. Your outside appearance exists not for you, but for the rest of society, so that they can know what kind of a human being you are. It's like a uniform, whether you like it or not. That's why all women should walk around with their titties out? No, they shouldn't, actually, because unlike your anime weeb, your weeb-ass cringe anime, in real life women aren't actually that attractive, so if women were walking around with their titties out, it would be extremely unpleasant to look at, because like 80 to 90% of them would have disgusting, shriveled, hanging, horribly shaped tits that you wouldn't want to look at in the first place. We're not living in your anime world where everybody is attractive, dude. Also, most women who are attractive, and a good percentage of them who really shouldn't be showing themselves. Most of the women who are even slightly attractive and have some sort of self-confidence in their body already walk around with their titties hanging out as much as possible. I mean, have you gone to the gym recently? Every woman is wearing like these giga-tight yoga pants with a crease in the back so that you can see their individual ass cheeks. Fake boobs are uncanny valley and I hate it. Yes. People should just give up. If they don't have big titties to begin with, you're donezo. Don't even try. Same thing for guys who are pumping themselves full of steroids to get massive muscles. Like, bodybuilding is kind of bizarre if you think about it. Well, not even if you think about it. It's bizarre to begin with. Like, it's an appearance-based fashion show for people who only a very limited amount of the population actually thinks these people look good. I was thinking about steroid bodies recently because, what's his name? The YouTube guy I keep on getting recommended. Sam Sulyek or something. Sam something. Recently was actually in his show. In his first show. And they were showing, him in his show condition, And he looks so fucking dehydrated, which he is, and old, because, you know, these guys are, to get their definition, they're covered in their fake spray tan, but they've also haven't been eating for the last, like, 2 weeks, and they have no water in their body, and they're about to die. He looked like he had aged, like, into his 50s or 60s when he should be, he's like in his mid-20s, right? It looks fucking awful. Like, the way his cheeks and shit are fucking sunken. I guess it's even more disturbing because I had seen some of his videos when he's just, like, bulking, and it looks, I mean, he's roided out as hell, but it looks like a more normal body type. And then, like, you get into the fucking shape for your competition, and then it's like, you look like a muscular mummy. I don't really know how to even explain this, but I just find it, like, I like healthy-looking people. This does not look healthy at all. The tans are fucking terrifying. Yes, spraying your body with a weird browning oil that you can wash off in an hour as well is also a weird concept, but I don't know. I feel like only a tiny percentage of the population actually thinks that bodybuilders' bodies are, you know, actually attractive, but they kill themselves over their shit. Arnold was right. Modern bodybuilding is a travesty. I mean, I guess, but I wouldn't really be like, oh, Arnold was like from a different era. I mean, Arnold was roided to hell. I like bodies that have been developed to do something. Lady bodybuilders are something else. Female bodybuilding is taking the weirdness of male bodybuilders and, like, turning it up to 12. It's because, like, the female body isn't meant to have zero fat and, like, insane steroid enhanced muscles as well, so it looks even weirder than the male bodybuilders, and the male bodybuilders look pretty fucked up to begin with. My brother advised me to start taking protein shakes to get more intake because I'm on the verge of underweight. Yes, you should also try some HGH as well. I don't know, I feel like it's pretty damn easy to gain weight in this modern society. I went grocery shopping and bought some Haagen-Dazs, and my weight that had hit like 175 or 176 has gone back up to 177 or so. Which is what happens when you eat a pint of ice cream that has 1,000 calories. The joy of at eating anything is it's time to gain your weight back, boy. Especially those male bodybuilders whose abs make them look like reverse turtles. Are you talking about the guys who the steroid gut? Apparently this is like a new thing that has only happened with modern steroids, not previous steroids. It's called Palumboism, based on a guy called Palumbo. These are the most extreme persons with it. Apparently, like, they can't pull their gut in. It's not really clear what causes it. Because it's not just, like, muscle growth, but it's, like, modern... It's, like, a combination of, like the current steroids and I don't know. Like, it's not clear what causes it. Is this the end form of bloat maxing? I'm not sure it's fat though. It's like their ab muscles are like jutting out in a weird way and they can't pull them in. They look like berserk enemies. Yes. Except they can't rape anything because their nuts and balls, I guess that's the same thing. Their dick and balls have shrunk into nothingness by too much steroid use. I think it's the gut getting fucked up and bacteria migrating. So, I just said that Sam Sulek's, he was in the show, right? Like, there was like 2 other guys next to him as well. And the guy who was in a larger weight class than him, fat burner pack of 3, he was also struggling to pull in his gut. Like, it wasn't jutting out to this degree, but he had, like, they do that, see, they're listing a shit ton of reasons, which means they don't actually know how this occurs, because it's, like, not actually a studied thing. But there was, like, one guy in the Sam Sulek show that was at a heavier weight class than him that was having difficulty pulling in the stomach and doing the vacuum pose. And I was like, oh, he's at like level 2 of the bubble gut situation. It's already happening. Stomach vacuum, it's like you've seen it before. It's like one of the bodybuilder poses where they just sort of like pull in their stomach as much as possible. And you can't do that if you have the steroid gut going on. Abandoned bodybuilding, become a female cyclist. Cycling also not necessarily good for you if you do it too long. Remember how guys, they would lose their semen because their balls were being attached to the seat for too long. They were overheating and like cooking their semen to death, so also not good. Palumboism is water retention and hormonal imbalance. But it looks so hot. Like, even if you don't have that, in general, the bodybuilding looks kind of bizarre. Like, even the ones that aren't using roids, when you're completely dehydrated, the body is not meant to be, like, void of all water, so you can see every single one of the body muscles. Arnold was also probably the last human-looking bodybuilder. Sort of. I think people are overstating the level of, you know, normalcy that Arnold had. Abandoned humanity become muscle, huh? I mean, that's actually more true than you think besides the muscles, because these guys have, like, fucked up personalities because they have insane roid rage going on all the time. They have to constantly make sure that they don't, like, start beating the shit out of their wives because their fucking hormones are going crazy. Let's see what we get if I Google search most roided out bodybuilder. Honestly, I can't tell if some of these are real human beings and which one of these are like AI monstrosities. Thanks to AI now. I'm seeing images from Craig Goliath. Like, honestly, this looks like some sort of AI image right here. Like, the head size is weird. Like, you're like, oh, he must have photoshopped this surely, right, guys? It's not Goliath, Goliath, although it's, you know, yeah. That's been photoshopped, I think. What about this? I don't think this is Photoshop. Can bro even scratch his ass? This is like the inverse version of the My 600 Pound Life people who are so fat. Holy shit. I can't believe he achieved his physique all natty. It's like the opposite of the My 600 Pound Life people who are so fat that they can't even, like, wash their own asshole and stuff. Except these people have so much muscles they can't, you know, probably reach around their ass. They can't have sex, the girl has to do all the work. I mean, they're impotent as well, so remember, their balls have shrunken. Like, I saw a documentary where a guy was talking about, like, his steroid use when he was competing as a bodybuilder and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I've had kids with my wife. And yeah, I become impotent when I'm on the juice. It's not a big deal. You just go off the juice and then your semen comes back and then you have sex. And then when you're, you know, when you're competing as a bodybuilder, you just deal with being impotent. It's like you have no balls. I'm just like, wouldn't you rather have your dick and balls work properly than have giga muscles? But yeah, they don't think like that. It do not be like that. Olympic field and track athletes are peak aesthetic for in-shape bodies. Honestly, I want to become like the giga skinny Kenyans and Ethiopians that can run, 2-hour marathons easily. Like the fucking super tall giga skeleton running form. I wonder what would happen to a fetus if the woman was taking roids. That is a good question. What happens if you're on human growth hormone testosterone shit during pregnancy? You want to look at practical muscles, look at strongman competitions. An important thing to remember is that strongmen are fat. In general, you need a lot of fat to do strength-related stuff. Fat is an important part of our human bodies if you want power. So in order to be able to compete in these bodybuilding competitions, they have to be like hyper dehydrated with no fat. So they're extremely weak at that point. The US military wants everyone to be a 6'5", 150-pound marathon runner. I mean, I'm not in the military, but I don't think the physical requirements were particularly that hard. US military basic training requirements. .5 mile run times of 18 minutes and 30 seconds for males, 21:35 for females. That's fucking insanely slow. Maximum body fat 20% for males, 28% for females. This shit is really lax. This might be just the Air Force. But, like, come on, man. This isn't like Navy SEAL shit. Two miles for Army, 3 miles for Marines. The Army has been struggling to find able-bodied recruits. I heard that they met their recruit quota this year. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to chair force, like, does it really matter? Only the Marines are the only, like, real thing where it's just, like, boots on the ground bullshit. I feel like wanting to be a Marine is also a sign of mental illness, to be honest. It's like, yeah, nothing better than being the foot soldier that get hit by artillery. Wouldn't fat recruits be more practical? They can starve for longer on the front line and will make a nice meal for the compatriots. They have to be able to walk to the front line in most cases. You have to be somewhat mobile, unfortunately. The Marine Corps is a cult? Yeah. I agree. I also liked how whenever you talk to anyone in the Navy, they're like, they absolutely fucking hate the Marines. Because they're just like sitting on the boat, right? I forgot, they had a specific name for Marines, but the Navy guy who like was a World War II veteran when I was getting toured around one of the old retired aircraft carriers was absolutely shitting on the Marines. He was like, and this is where the Marines would stay. No, not jarheads. There was like a specific Navy derogatory slang that they had for the Marines, because the Marines wouldn't operate the boat, so they were like, you know, tourist or some shit. They had weight limits too. I worked with a Marine who had to lose muscle mass because he began weighing too much. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about whether your BMI is too high because you have too much muscle. Muscles won't stop bullets. Heh. That's what you think. But have you considered if you have more muscles? It's also hard to drag away an injured soldier if they weigh too much. You also have to just like physically fit in everything. Whether it's like the personnel carriers or the boat or whatever. You can't have people who are like, I'm strong fat, but I need 2 airplane seats. I mean, what the military wants is they want, like, standardized humans. They want humans that all fit within, like... You know how, like, all of your bottles and stuff fit in your refrigerator properly? Because they've all been standardized, so it's not like, oh, this thing is too big, it doesn't fit sideways and stuff. That's basically what the military want, except for, like, all human beings. And not just in terms of size. They want people that just, like, conform and listen to orders. This isn't an anime where you have, like, your top 10 Demon Slayer Hashira that can kill, you know, like 10,000 demons by themselves, right? You don't want, like, incredibly special talent. You want average human beings that all follow orders and fit within a certain mold. Sounds like the military wants test tube soldiers. Of course they want test tube soldiers. Have we not figured this out yet? Like, what do you think the military is? The army, where you get in trouble for speaking the truth and for not speaking the truth. Remember when, during the Trump administration, I can't remember if it was the army or a different branch, but, like, there was one guy who was so egregious in, like, his war crimes, that basically everybody that worked for him was calling him out and he got court-martialed. And then the retarded Republican Congress was like, no, this man is a war hero. And he got like pardoned. And like basically everyone of his the soldiers that worked under him was like, this guy was just like randomly going around shooting civilians and shit like that. This guy was a psycho. And then the GOP was like, no, he's a war hero. Because, like, they would rather maintain a fantasy version of the American military than reality. Isn't the American military also like a huge waste of money? Like absolutely mind-boggling amounts of money per day? When I was working as a lifeguard, one of my coworkers was in the National Guard, and he was telling me about how the end of the month was approaching, so him and the rest of the members of the National Guard had to go out to the shooting range and fire like 1,000 rounds of ammunition, because if they hadn't used their ammunition, then it would mean that the budgetary people were like, oh, you haven't used all your stuff, that means you probably don't need that much, right? So they would like have it reduced the next time, right? So they had to make sure to use all the bullets. I was like, yeah, here we go, there's my tax dollars, baby. Fire off 7,000 rounds downrange. It's our biggest industry. To be fair, America does export a lot of their military shit as well as products, so it's not like only a minus. They also, make a lot of money by making sure Hamas is properly armed with AR-15s and whatever. Surely Elon and Doge will do something about this clue list. I don't think Elon and Doge are going to do anything in terms of... Why pay taxes if they are not being converted into ammunition entering the bodies of foreign children? I mean, that is one of the few things in which... you do know that your taxes are being used for, so at least we know where it's going. Every October, my army units would blow the remaining budgets on stupid shit. One year, they bought a shit ton of flat screens to hang them on walls and display slides. I mean, it's not really unique to the military, though. It's like any department that has a budget, you have to use up the entire budget. Or else people are like, oh, I guess you don't need that much money, which you don't. The only thing Elon and his merry band of dick butts will do is sow chaos. Both Elon and Trump are not really qualified to run a business, and they think that firing people is like the be-all and end-all. It's easy to burn things to the ground. It's not very easy to actually build something. There's all of these corporate CEO types that think that they're like actually building something when all they're doing is just firing everybody. But, you know, because they have stockholders and stuff, whatever short-term gains they get from cutting costs by firing every human being in the company, they're like, we did it, guys. We cut costs by 80%. It's like, yeah, because there's nobody left. That's why, you stupid motherfuckers. The Marvel Rivals devs were fucking laid off. Idiots. What, is this new? Keck W 2 hours ago. This shit is so bizarre. It says it's the US developers. I don't know what percentage of Marvel Rivals is being done in China and what percentage is being done in the United States at this point. It might not be a big deal if it's just like US localization team or whatever, but honestly, the video game industry as a whole can't crash and burn fast enough at this point. I think what really bothers me, well, there's a lot of things that bother me, but one of many things that bothers me in the current era of video games is you can't even tell if any of this shit is actually making money or not, right? So shit like Marvel Rivals, right? We have like a gazillion people playing it, it's popular on Steam, whatever. Alright, that's fine. But then you're like, so are they making money? What's going on? Like, the only way you can gauge whether a game is doing good or not is like 6 months later when the entire development team is fired. And even that isn't a good way to gauge it at this point, because sometimes they just start firing people even when you assume that they're making money. You say you can't tell if a film or game is making money until half a year later, twice every stream, LMO. That's because there's something that reminds me of this every single day. I'm just talking about what's happening on a daily basis, and what's happening on a daily basis is that, like, shit is either failing or succeeding, but we can't tell. And then Twitter makes a big deal out of everything, and you're like, wait, but are they... Was this, like, does this have any meaning or not? In fact, it's not even like... I think we've gotten to the point where you can't even tell 6 months later. You can only tell if they actually, like, literally make a sequel, like, 5 years later. And then it was like, okay, I assume they made money. Because they're making a sequel. They think the IP is valuable. Like, nobody knows what's going on in the guts of Netflix. Is Netflix profitable, guys? I bet if I Google this, the answer is going to be like, well, the answer is complicated. Is Netflix profitable? It says they're making $7 billion US. Apparently Netflix is the only thing that's profitable, because it says that Disney's losses were like $2 billion. This is 2023 and 2024. With live service, isn't it easy to tell by player count? A lot of live services are free, right? So then you have to wonder how many of those people are buying the, you know, shitty skins. And if they aren't buying the shitty skins, how much do the servers cost, etc., etc. So it's not that simple. I love how people are using the term art. None of this shit that we're talking about is art. It's questionable if it's even entertainment. Most money comes from whales anyways. Even if there's only a player base of like 10 people, if the 10 people are all the whales that have already spent $1 gazillion on Diablo Immortal and are going to spend $1 million more, it's probably profitable. Fan art is the biggest tell that you have a successful IP, I guess. But again, people have to spend money at some point, right? The problem, so, even if you're getting shit tons of fan art, some of these corporate entities spend so much money on the development costs that, like, if it's an individual project like Helltaker, yeah, and you get a shit ton of fan art, even if the game is free, if everyone's buying the art book or whatever his business model was, he's gonna have a ton of money because it's one person. But the corporate IP, because we don't know what the development time and development costs are. Like, no matter how popular the product is, there's always a possibility that they've lost a shit ton of money. People were paying for the pancake recipe. I mean, people were donating, basically. The internet is sort of an honor system. You're hoping that enough people that take your free items, because everything is free thanks to piracy. You're hoping that enough people who take your free items off the internet are going to leave a tip in the jar that you can make a living. Demon Slayer is probably like the lowest level of mangaka artistry that I've seen that was also like a giga mega hit. Maybe not. I don't know. Gintama is pretty low as well in terms of like the mangaka themselves art level. I just think that Demon Slayer kind of got their ass saved by the anime coming at the right timing and then having one of the best animation studios show up and animate everything. It was about to get canceled, by the way, like right before the anime started or something. I can't remember what the timing was, but... I don't know if I'm gonna draw all the wives. The requester asked me to, but I don't feel like drawing like 3 people, honestly. It's a pain in the ass. Still don't understand the hype. Sometimes things are popular because it's just good enough for everybody. I was watching some YouTube videos by Japanese editors, and they was talking about how no matter how good your manga is, when you put it on a magazine, like 80% of the audience isn't gonna like it and not gonna read it. So you have to make sure that you can make something that's appealing for like 20% of people. And every once in a while you have a manga that's appealing to like 40% of the audience. And then if the 10% of those 40% of people buy the novel, then you have a massive mega giga hit that makes you a shit ton of money. I think that's how it works. So I don't know if Demon Slayer is anybody's favorite manga, unless they're like a little kiddie who's the first time they're reading shonen. But if it's good enough for a massive amount of people, I think it becomes a hit. Demon Slayer is your favorite manga if you have read 3 manga ever, maybe. There is a Japanese term called Kimetsu Kids. So Kimetsu no Yaiba being the Japanese title, and Kidzu being like the children who this is their first anime or manga they had read. And then they were famous for saying things like, oh, this is a this is a training arc. Oh, that's a copy of Demon Slayer. It's like, no, it's not. The Jujutsu Kaisen manga is kind of ugly and not ugly in a way I find endearing, like anime Attack on the Titan. See, you're just like another person of the 80% of people who don't like a certain thing, right? It doesn't matter if the Fujoshi buy it. You don't matter, son. You don't get any money for people not liking your thing. Indifference is the same as hating something, you know? Someone who's like, oh, I kind of like it, but I'm not going to buy the book, is making the same amount of money for the author as the person who's like, I absolutely hate it, I'm going to write a bunch of comments in the comments section and talk about how shit it is. They both provide 0 amounts of economic benefit. The Fujoshi must have terrorists placed on them. I mean, even not as a joke, the Fujoshi are a huge problem for judging popularity of shonen manga, especially Shonen Jump stuff. Because yes, they buy the merchandise and stuff like that, but you can't listen to them and their opinions, or else they're gonna ruin your manga, especially if like you have a sports manga, right? Like, half of the people who are buying stuff like Haikyuu and any of, like, random soccer manga are gonna be fujoshi who just want gay sex among the characters, but they don't actually want to see the gay sex. They want to imagine the gay sex among themselves. So you can't actually pay attention to whatever opinions they have. You just sort of have to ignore them. Because they don't want to be acknowledged themselves in most cases. I'm trying to find the image of the Bleach character popularity poll in which Hitsugaya won. For those of you who don't know, this this fucking Shota boy, despite only having like, I don't know, 10 pages of significance in the actual arc, was giga hyper uber popular. Oh, this is I think it was a 2018 one. And he's just like, ah, yes. Number 1, Hizukaya. Number 2, Gin. Number 3, Yoruichi, the horny man, I guess. And then the main character is fucking 4th. And this has happened many, many times for various Jump manga, where it's just like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is the art from the image in which he got number 1 with 8,000 votes. This is when it was still in the Shonen Jump. So the thing is, females tend to participate and vote way more actively than male readers. So when you have a system based on people sending in postcards, which is what Shonen Jump is still based on, just by default, you get these weird-ass situations. When does the Fujo bubble burst? When one of them decides to go rogue and mass print or leak into their internet their extremely specific depravity? Why do you think it's a bubble? It's just gonna be like this forever, guys. Fujoshi aren't gonna go away. Women aren't gonna stop imagining men having gay sex anytime soon. I know you're hoping. The US stock tech bubble and the AI tech bubble will burst before the Fujoshi gay bubble bursts. I can tell you that. Can you not talk about gay sex for 5 minutes? It's not real gay sex. It's gay sex as imagined by women. Japanese women specifically. If Japanese women actually cared about real gay sex men, then they'd have to be turned on by guys who look like this. Because every Japanese gay guy has trained their body to have this round, bare body type. But that's not what the Fujoshi want. Real gay men don't look like 10-year-olds. My gender theory is that Fujoshi are women that don't have much experience with actual men, and they are intimidated by male sexuality, which is relatively hostile to women because it just is focused on men ejaculating no matter what. Men don't really care. As long as they can come, they're gonna stick their dick inside like a tree hole or something. So this is intimidating and dangerous to women. So instead they want to view men from a more safe gendered view in which men behave much more like women. If you read most Fujoshi, there is a lot of coming inside the asshole or whatever, or the yaoi hole, but the guys always have a lot of like shoujo style emotional back and forth going on between them, and they behave how women behave, basically. And I think by changing the behavior of men, the Fujoshi find them to be less threatening. Male rape and domination of the lesser male, lots of neck biting. So the male on male rape that happens in Fujoshi manga yaoi is basically the same personality type as how the sexy pretty boy guys rape females in otome shit. Where it's like, oh, you're driving me crazy. That stuff. It's not the male sexuality that you see in male porn, which is just like, I have to come. How many hours do you draw per day? Depends. Sometimes I measure it, sometimes I don't. After years of drawing, you just stop counting shit. I mean, I do have like a draw time diary when I was working on the manga, basically to prove to myself that like I think I'm working really hard, but in reality I'm hardly even, doing a full-time 40-hour week worth of drawing. Like when I was working on this, like I have all these days where I have Path of Exile listed because I only drew for 4 hours. And I've only drew 4, 4, and it's like 6, 6. When I'm not playing Path of Exile, 2, 7, 5, 7, 6, 2, 7, 2, 7, 8. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, etc., etc. So, like, I'm barely doing 40 hours a week, really, honestly. You don't write down manually? I mean, it doesn't... I do write down manually. What does it... Does it even matter? It's just for me to keep track of my own diligence. In a journal? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I was keeping track in some cases to motivate myself, but I'm not going to do it all the time. Like, it's just self-satisfaction. I mean, you shouldn't be like, oh man, I'm so good, I drew so many hours today. You should be like, I was able to finish this drawing super quickly, so now I have more time to play video games. Hey, thanks for the sub, Hessiano. I appreciate the support. Thanks for the sub. I hope you're having a nice day. I guess this wouldn't... Do you enjoy making art? You know what I enjoy? Telling you to shut the fuck up. How about that? Black opium smells a lot like coffee and smoke. It's delicious smelling and makes sense. My mother is hypersensitive to smell, so if I started wearing cologne, I think she'd kick me out of the house. Of course not. Nobody actually likes making art, dude. You do it because you have to. That was too harsh against Constrictor. Don't worry, he'll be back in 10 minutes. Real artists don't draw for like 4 months. Ball is a phony. Yeah, I should burn all of my artwork as well, and also delete all of my social media accounts. That's also a huge requirement for being a real artist. How many timeouts does that make for Constricted? I don't know, like 50. We can celebrate his 50th timeout by timing him out. a lot of artists are burning theirs because of Gen AI, as if that helps. I want Gen AI to get better so I won't have to draw myself. Unfortunately, generative AI is not good enough to actually replace me, so I can't have it draw 100 pages for me, which is what I actually want it to do. It can't replace you, LOL. It can't replace anybody, god damn it. It can't do manga, that's the biggest problem. There was a Japanese person on Twitter that I was watching, but he was doing trying to use Gen AI to generate manga panels, and he was drawing like the rough draft, not this closely, but much more closer to like a storyboard, and having it complete the picture for him with like image to image stuff, and it's just like, it's not good enough. In contrast, I was also watching a like a documentary of famous Japanese mangaka, and they were showing one guy's inking, and he was like, after 40 minutes he's done with this inking this page, and I'm like, god damn it. So like, yeah, it might replace the local shitty artist like myself, but like, you think you can prompt fast? Well, actual professionals finish their inking in like less than an hour on a single page, so good fucking luck with that. Even if normies open Pandora's box, if that box is full of shit, it won't replace masters, LOL. It's just more shit on the internet right now. The internet was already full of art that nobody cared about. We're just at like a different stage in which the art is made by machines shitting out art instead of people, but I have a bunch of, you know, porn generator AI people that I follow for, you know, masturbation reasons, and they don't get much views or likes. I mean, AI is good enough at this point that if it was going to start replacing people, it would already have done so. That's the thing. We've already reached the point where technically it's good enough to replace some things. Animation, definitely not one of them, though. It's good enough to replace cookie cutter shit. I think if your main job was producing some kind of image for marketing reasons and shit like that, you might get replaced. Because nobody gives a fuck what's in your ads. Nobody wants to look at ads to begin with, so they don't care if it's an AI image or something drawn by a person. Like all that corporate art Corporate Memphis. Like, if your job is making shit that looks like this, then I hope you get replaced right now. Kick W. I like the Saturn eating his children version of Corporate Memphis right here. That's pretty funny. I still get Corporate Memphis when I click on my phone and try to look at the weather. There's just like someone that looks like this with wind blowing in the background. I'm like, oh, thanks. I sure love this clean art style. It's always a black woman, by the way. That sort of comes part and parcel with the whole thing. We need to go back to the 90s aesthetic. Where everything looked like this. We're like, we can't just have a white paper cup, guys. We have to have a white paper cup with like this blue thing and this blue line on it. Everything looked like a variation of this in the 90s. The jazz cups. Stop making me miss the 90s. 90s McDonald's building. You miss your fucking McDonald's with a ball pit attached to it with the fucking play space. Is this a Pizza Hut attached to it? I can't tell if this is a McDonald's only. Yeah, the Taco Bells were fucking iconic. My Taco Bell is getting remodeled right now, and the new building they're making looks exactly like the previous building. Yeah, this is the that jazz cup aesthetic that I'm talking about. This is like the living version of that cup, right? The color scheme and shit. It was like pretty silly looking even at the time, but you didn't really think much about it. I don't necessarily want everything to go back to the 90s. I just want there to be like different aesthetics, you know? Like, why does all these corporations all do the same thing? Why can't we have one corporation go one way and have another corporation go another way and be like, we're gonna look different? Like, don't you want to differentiate from each other? Why is it that they're all like, oh, you know, Microsoft is using this sort of aesthetic for its icons, so we need to use a similar aesthetic for our icons? I mean, I guess the answer is pretty obvious, and it's that there's all these people with poorly defined jobs that are like, have to justify their existence, so they have to like do shit. So they do that by designing new stuff, but none of it is really necessary. I mean, it was soulless back then, too. It was just like a different flavor of soulless. I'm just asking corporations to have slight variations in their soullessness. It's weird being alive in a time when 10% of society actually needs to be useful. It do be like that, isn't it? And half of the money that's flying around is fake money, whether it's like stocks or actual literal fake money in the form of crypto and shit. Like, we actually don't know what percentage of money that's going around and people are using. Like, money is now completely in the realm of how people feel about something. I mean, that was always what money was, but we've really entered a new level of just being like, this thing might be worth something or it might not be. You're gonna find out in 10 minutes. I think the president of Argentina recently, like yesterday, got in trouble because he was promoting a crypto scam that got rug pulled because, like, it's a crypto scam. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. This is the second world leader after Trump that is engaging in crypto scams. We are literally just letting scammers be our presidents right now, aren't we? Like, actual literal scammers. Like, at least back in the day, we'd let the robber barons, like, I don't know, they wouldn't be selling the snake oil sales. They'd be like, at least, they'd have like some sort of complex pyramid scheme in which they would rip you off, or like a monopoly or something. They wouldn't just be like, here, buy this fake coin. It's all just so blatant and low level. I'm kind of neutral on scams when they're really obvious and only affect idiots. Well, I don't cry for all the people who buy the crypto. I think there might be some other problems that might be caused if we're letting scammers run our country, quite literally. That might be a bad sign of other things to come. This too will pass. Some things will pass. In fact, everything will pass eventually, but you might pass as well in the process. It's like, haha, that fascist dictatorship passed. And also, I was tortured for 15 years during that time. So it will pass for some people, and for other people, they won't be around. Government feels like a massive scam regardless. People who say that are people who are living in a relatively stable situation in which they don't know how bad it is to not have a government. If you want to live in a place where there is no government, there's plenty of countries that have a non-functional government in Africa or Haiti or something like that, and it's not doing so well. If you want to experience the alternative to having a government and just having 5 different armed militia groups that might show up at your village one day and rape everybody and make you into a child soldier, then you can always go to any country in Africa right now. Places where the number of children outnumber adults and government leaders are the old men that manage to live long enough to take over Far Cry Dreamland. I do think that if society gets bad enough in developed countries, the birth rates will go up again. I was thinking about this because I was browsing 4chan video game board, and because it's the video game board, they were talking about something that had absolutely nothing to do with video games as usual. And there was a huge incel going on a rant about how feminism is what reduces birth rates in developed countries. And I was like, are we sure about that? And I was checking the birth rates of places that definitely don't have much feminism going on, like Saudi Arabia and Iran and stuff like that. Because like this incel was like, we just need to force women to become breeding slaves. And I'm like, you know what? Even when women are breeding slaves, the birth rates are still going down. Like Saudi Arabia is barely above like replacement level right now. They used to have like 6 kids per woman, and now it's like down to 2 or so. And I was thinking, so what's the only country among developed, quote unquote, developed nations that has high birth rate? I'll give you an answer. It's Israel. What's going on with Israel? Besides having a lot of religion, they're constantly being under attack. Like people are constantly afraid that they're going to get murdered because they're in that country, and you know, half of the Arab world wants it to disappear off the map. And I was just thinking that people just need to have a sense of like life is extremely fragile and you're going to get murdered and killed at any time to be having a lot of sex. Like when life is cheap, people have more children to replace their population. It's just like instinctual. This is my theory. When did we have the largest amount of breeding going on? After World War II. Once World War II was over, everyone's like, oh shit, everyone's dead. We have to have sex. Let's fuck now. So when life is good and you're like, oh, I'd rather just chill and have my own personal happiness, people aren't gonna have kids. If we get hit by a giant asteroid and it wipes out like 1/3 of the world's population, people are gonna start having kids. This is my theory. So you mean to say if things stay shitty right now, everyone is going to start having kids? Fuck my life. No, people are going to start having kids when it gets even shittier. It's not shitty enough right now. People are still relatively comfortable. Basically, we have to become a third world country again for people to start having kids. I think that's what needs to happen. We don't need to approach Mad Max levels, just Africa levels. As long as I can have a kid and still afford Infinity Nikki pools, we're in the clear. No, you won't be able to afford Infinity Nikki. No more gacha. Also the whole thing about like, oh, see, the anti-feminist and the pro-feminist both make the argument that, like in opposite directions, that having a kid is too expensive or being a woman is too difficult and stuff. Like my mother, being a feminist, makes the argument that the Scandinavian countries have higher birth rate because they provide education and support to women. And I was like, I look up the birth rate of like Sweden and it's like 1.3, and it's like, no, Scandinavian countries do not have higher birth rates. Stop lying, mom. And then the incels on the other hand are like, no, we shouldn't let women have education. If they were breeding slaves and forced to stay at home, they'd have to have children. And those countries that still have, like, Iran has their whole anti-female police being allowed to go around and beat women on the streets and stuff, and they're still like losing their population as well. So I don't think it has anything to do with it. Also, all the people being like, it's too expensive to have kids now. That's why nobody has kids. It's like, what are you talking about? Look at the fucking birth rates in these African countries that, are some people are barely trying to survive. They can't survive because they don't have enough food. They're still having kids. That is bullshit as well. You think the boomers they cared about whether they could send their kids to college? They just like fucked and had kids and that was that. They didn't worry too much about it. Nobody wants to fucking raise kids now. It's not just difficulty, people don't want to be bothered. See, back in the day, people didn't care whether they were a bad parent or not. So they weren't worried about raising kids or whether they should raise kids. They're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna fuck without a condom. Whatever. I don't know, like if I raise a kid, I just don't want them to be absolutely fucked up, and the current state of the world isn't very cash money. So back when there was population growth, people didn't care if their kid would be born into an okay world or not. In fact, they were like, I had a bunch of kids so I can get them to work on the farm for me. This is free labor. They weren't like, I want to provide my child with all the opportunities. They were just like, son, get on the fucking farm and start cutting wheat. Why do you think you exist? It's so I don't have to hire any extra farm hands. A lot of countries with low birth rates still have lots of immigration to compensate. The Japanese, they were so not fond of non-Japanese and suicidal that they were actually shrinking. Japan is a tiny island full of mountains. It doesn't need more people. The Trumpist incels are right on this one. The whole, like, you need to take a shit ton of immigrants into your country stuff is bullshit. Japan should keep on restricting immigration. Japan is a nice country that people want to come to specifically because Japanese behave in a certain way, and allowing a shit ton of immigrants to come in is not the right way to solve that. We need immigrants because American cuisine isn't a thing. I have the opposite opinion on immigration in America versus immigration in Japan. I think Japan should restrict immigration and America should have tons of immigration. America doesn't get to do the whole, no, these immigrants will destroy the American way of life. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? America is a country built on slavery and immigration. Also, American food fucking sucks. Meanwhile, Japan should maintain their monoculturalist, single genetic society and keep the foreigners out as much as possible. Japan needs to get actually good working conditions and social conditions so people stop offing themselves. What are you, trapped in like the 2000s Japan is bad stereotypes? Japan isn't even like in the top 5 of like high suicide countries anymore. This is you're just like parroting the opinions of the social commentator people on New York Times who are like, no, Japan, you need to take in more immigrants. Elon literally said Americans are too retarded for qualified jobs, Omega lol. He's also probably not offering very good actual salaries and stuff, which is why he wants H-1B1 visas or whatever they're called. People's gotta stop getting brainwashed by TV, man. I mean, the thing is that the people don't update their situations. Japan has way too many foreigners in it right now, especially because the yen is weak. And as a result, like Chinese can just like buy up shit. Elon's team didn't even make the database on their website private. Americans are incompetent, I guess. Americans are incompetent, but the people that are getting hired by Elon are probably more incompetent than the average American worker. Let's be honest. He's not getting the best and brightest people in this country. This is a guy who blocks people on Twitter if they say something mean about him. I'm pretty sure he only hires people that suck up to him instead of the most, you know, powerful independent thinkers are not what Elon wants. Concerning he is leading a group of barely legal 20-year-old boys that have access to our social security numbers. Yeah. Again, birth rates will increase when America reaches third world country status. We're going back, boys. Back in time. To 1912. He has a dick implant. I mean, if there's anybody that would give themselves a dick implant, it would be Elon. He's obsessed with breeding, and he believes in technology, so he'd probably be like, yeah, I can improve myself, right? He's the type of person that would do something that might have some serious downsides without thinking about how it could go wrong in terms of technology. He already has hair implants, why not go further? Alright guys, how will we improve this physique right here? What kind of plastic surgery should this guy... I like how normal this the other person on the yacht looks next to him. It's like, oh look, it's a normal human being next to a fucking bloated zombie corpse. How do you achieve this physique natty, guys? Like, how can you be this white when you own a yacht and shit? The sexy tan old man is probably like the person in charge of running the yacht or something, I'm guessing. The funniest part about both Elon and Trump is how insanely insecure they are at all times. I guess working out is the last thing on their minds. I mean, why start now? Trump is getting to that point where he's so old that he's going to start losing weight anyways as his body atrophies and approaches death. In fact, I think he has lost weight, not by working out, of course, but because he's just growing old. It's always a bad sign when you start to lose weight just because your body can no longer maintain that level of fat. Jeff Bezos is fucking ripped. Has Jeff Bezos has retired from running Amazon, right? So he just has a bunch of time, doesn't he? Jeff Bezos is clearly a very high-test individual. I mean, Jeff Bezos is actually capable of running a company, whether you like it or not. Whereas Elon and Trump, their primary skills aren't actually running businesses, but being promoters of themselves and like ideas and stuff. They're basically just hype men. Whereas Bezos actually accumulated power by having Amazon work as a business. I mean, everybody complains about how awful Amazon is to their workers and stuff like that. But then if you're like, okay, when's the last time you bought something from Amazon? If you ask them that, they'll be like, yesterday, so... Jeff Bezos is legitimately the scary billionaire. He slapped down an anti-Elon ad in the Washington Post. He knows the strings to pull. Jeff Bezos is an old-fashioned rich person who wants to actually control things from the shadows, who's actually interested in real power. And real power is usually best used from where people won't pay attention to it. Whereas Trump and Elon are all about like the appearance of power. They care about self-promotion and looking good in front of the cameras, but they don't actually care whether anything gets done or not. They don't actually care if all the shit that they're pushing right now actually gets implemented in reality and has any effect. Like, Trump doesn't actually care one way or the other if Gaza gets cleared out and he gets to build a bunch of hotels there or not. He's just saying it and seeing if people will capitulate to him. But if it doesn't happen, it's fine. Whereas people like Bezos actually care about the result in real life and thus are more dangerous. No shit, they don't care, it's performative. That's the word that I'm looking for, basically. It's all performative. Also, all of the Trump supporters, like, they only care about the performative aspects as well. Zuckerberg crying because laid off employees leaked the Meta town hall, LMAO. Zuckerberg is probably the weirdest cuck out of all of these guys right here. Like, we don't even talk about it anymore, but as much as I clown on Elon and stuff like that, I don't think Elon has anything on the level of the metaverse disaster that Zuckerberg has. I mean, the guy believed in the concept of the fucking metaverse so hard, he renamed his entire corporate structure Meta. The guy really thought that he was going to be like Ready Player One, Second Life Part 2, living in a virtual world, having meetings in a virtual world, wearing your stupid fucking headsets. And nobody now talks about that shit because it's so obviously dead. Facebook is like, please just forget that. I mean, I often say that Elon fell ass backward into money, but I think he did make one or two pretty smart investments at like the right time, like the satellite network and shit. And sometimes that's all you need. But in the case of Zuckerberg, I think Zuckerberg truly did fall ass backward into money. Like, I don't think Facebook is in any way superior a product to any of the other social networks. And it just happened to succeed because it came at exactly the right time. And the only reason that people were using Facebook is because other people were using Facebook. And there's no reason why it was more successful than like MySpace or something like that. It was just like the right thing at the right time, and that's it. And now that he has a fucking monopoly where everyone just uses the same network because other people are using that network, like, he's good to go. Maybe that won't be the case anymore when all the boomers who are still using Facebook die off, but for now, like, it doesn't matter if he has a massive failure in Meta and stuff like that. Zuck is just some guy compared to the other retards with a lot of money. I mean, he doesn't have the business acumen, but he also doesn't act out like an insane retard like Elon and Trump do. So people don't have to worry about him. They can just not use Facebook. I know this is hard to believe, but you do have the option to not join Facebook. French Facebook is a boomer horror show. French boomer Facebook is 10 years behind, meaning they don't comprehend AI imagery. Feels good, man. Zuck is a billionaire, yes. But he will still die, just like all of us. Also, I've stopped keeping track of the whole, like, this person's a billionaire and stuff, because it's all just stocks, right? Like, I don't fucking care if your overvalued stock is worth $10 billion and you're the majority shareholder of Facebook. I just don't care. My parents like watching those AI narrated videos. It's so fucking annoying. See, now that you've mentioned it.
AI Read to Me presents Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, narrated by AI Voices. Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of someone or other of their daughters.
"My dear Mr. Bennet,"
said his lady to him one day,
Keck
"have you heard
W.
that Netherfield Park is let at last?"
Mr. Bennet replied that he had not.
"But it is,"
returned she.
"for Mrs. Long has just been here, and she told me all about it."
Mr. Bennet made no answer.
"Do not you want to know who has taken it?"
cried his wife impatiently.
You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it.
This was invitation enough.
"Why, my dear, you must know. Mrs. Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England, that he came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place, and was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately. That he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by
What the
the
fuck
end
is
of next week."
Michaelmas?
What is his name?
"Bingley."
Is he married or single?
"Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man of large fortune. 4,000 or 5,000 a year. What a fine thing for our girls."
How so? How can it affect them?
"My dear Mr. Bennet,"
replied his wife.
"how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I am thinking of his marrying one of them."
Is that his design in settling here?
"Design? Nonsense, how can you talk so? But it is very likely that he may fall in love with one of them, and therefore you must
Why is
visit
the
him
AI
as
so
soon as he
damn
comes."
British? Because
I
it's
see
Jane
no occasion for
Austen.
that.
That's
You
not
and the
wrong.
girls may go, or you may send
Actually,
them
this
by
isn't
yourself,
that bad.
which perhaps will be still better, for as you are as handsome
I might
as
listen
any
to
of them,
great
Mr.
classics
Bingley might
narrated
like
by
the best
AI
of
on
the party.
YouTube.
"My dear, you flatter me. I certainly have had my share of beauty, but I do not pretend to be anything extraordinary now. When a woman has 5 grown-up daughters, she ought to give over thinking of her own beauty.
In such cases, a woman has not often much beauty to think of.
But, my dear, you must indeed go and see Mr. Bingley when he comes into the neighbourhood.
It is more than I engage for, I assure you.
It's weird
But
because
consider your daughters." Only think what an
Like,
establishment it would be for one of them.
there's people, it
So
sounds
William
like
and
there's
Lady
people reading the
Lucas are
lines, but
determined to go
they
merely on that
lack
account,
like some of
for
the
in
emotional
general, you know,
context
they
that you would
visit no
expect
newcomers.
when like they say
Indeed, you
something
must go, for
snide.
it will be impossible for us to visit him if you do not.
You are over-scrupulous, surely.
Voice actors
I dare
cook?
say Mr.
I don't
Bingley
think
will be very
so.
glad to see you, and I will send a few lines by you to assure him of my hearty consent.
American voice
to
actors have
marrying
always
whichever
been
he
cooked
chooses of
because
the girls.
American
Though I must
like
throw in a
media
good
doesn't
word for my
respect
little
voice
Lizzie.
acting to begin with, and whenever
Besides,
there's
you will do no such thing.
like some sort of
Lizzie is
animated
not a bit
movie, they're
better
like,
than the
Chris
others,
Pratt
and I'm
is
sure she's
Mario,
not
you
half so
know?
handsome as
Like there
Jane,
isn't
nor
any
half
voice
so
acting
wealthy
industry
as
to begin
Lydia.
with. And
But
I
you
don't
are
think
always
Japanese
giving her
voice
the
actors are
preference.
cooked either,
They have
so
none
I
of
don't
them
know.
much to recommend them.
I don't give a fuck if American voice
They're all
acting industry
silly,
is any
ignorant
more
like
cooked
other
than it
girls,
already
but
was cooked, because there's
Lizzie has
already like
something more
giga
of
cooked.
quickness than her sisters.
Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? You take
The
delight
woman
in
voice
vexing
works
me.
somewhat. The
You have
guy
no
sounds like
compassion on my
Tomodachi
poor
Life.
nerves.
You mistake me, my dear. I have a high respect for your nerves. They are my old friends. I have
It's
heard you
also
mention them with
provided with
consideration
these
these 20
helpful,
years at
extremely
least.
sloppy,
You do not know what I suffer.
completely
But I hope you will
formless,
get over
boring
it and
ass,
live to see many young
generic
women of 4,000
woman
a
in
year come
generic
into the
dress
neighborhood.
holding a generic
It
bunch
will
of
be no use to
flowers.
us if 20 such should come, since you will
Anybody
not listen.
who's excited
Depend
for
upon it, my
the
dear,
future in which
that when
AI
there are
is
20, I will
doing
visit them
everything
all.
for us is just like,
Mr.
I want
Bennet was
everything
so
to
odd a
be
mixture of quick parts, sarcastic
this
humour, reserve, and
flavorless
caprice,
slop that is
that the experience
good
of 3
enough
and 20
but
years
is
had been
not
insufficient to
specific
make
in
his
any
wife
way.
understand his character. Her mind was less difficult to develop. She was a woman of
Translator's Preface of Crime and Punishment. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
See, this is the non-AI reading right here.
The insufferable stench from the pothouses, which are particularly numerous in that part of the town, and the drunken men whom he met continually.
You can tell
although
that
it was a working day,
it's
completed
not
the
AI
revolting
because I
misery
find the
of
voice
picture.
even more annoying than
An
the
expression
AI
of the
version.
profoundest disgust gleamed for a moment in the young man's refined face. He was, by the way, exceptionally handsome, above the average in height.
This is a
slim,
non-professional
well-built,
voice actor,
with
by the
beautiful
way.
dark eyes and dark brown hair. Soon he sank into deep thought,
It's just like a
or,
guy
more accurately speaking,
volunteering.
into a complete blankness of mind. He walked along not observing
Tech
what
bros
was
and
about
normies
him,
wanted the
not
future,
caring
let them
to
have it
observe
and
it.
regret it.
From
Time will
to time,
tell.
he would mutter something.
I mean,
From the habit of
I don't
talking
think the
to
tech
himself,
bros will
which he
ever
had
regret
just confessed.
anything. That's just how they
At
are.
these moments, he would become conscious that his ideas were sometimes in a tangle, and that he was very weak. For 2 days he had scarcely tasted food. He was so badly dressed that even a man accustomed to shabbiness would have been ashamed to be seen in the street in such rags.
By the
In that
way,
quarter
these
of the town,
audiobook
however,
AI
scarcely
narrated and
shortcomings in
illustrated,
dress would have
want to see
created
how many views
surprise.
they have?
Owing
This
AI is the
audiobook
future,
based
right,
on
guys?
Leo
People will
Tolstoy's
definitely want
collection,
to listen to
23
classic
stories,
Tolstoy
translated by Lewis
narrated by
and Aylmer Maude,
an
and
AI
published
audio.
in 1907.
60
The collection
views.
consists of 23 short stories each. The Maudes were renowned translators of Tolstoy's works and had a personal
5
relationship
subscribers.
with the author,
AI
making
Eternal
their translations
Chapters.
particularly
Are we sure this
moving.
is the future?
Their work helped introduce Tolstoy's short stories to English-speaking readers.
Like, it's kind of hard to find things with that few likes and that nobody gives a single fuck about. You can have, like, your own individual video footage of you dancing on the lawn and get more likes than that. Worth the 900 gorillion. That's the thing, right? The way that the AI is being invested in, it can't just be like some sort of alternative. It actually has to be used in like every part of society for it to pay off for the insane investment costs that there's getting put in. Like, they need to use like 14 billion this year. OpenAI, just like read the internet again. AI can't just be like some sort of weaker alternative to things we already have. It has to be so popular that it has to be the equivalent of cell phones, basically. for all this investment to pay off. Cell phones and the internet and computers. And it clearly isn't. So I don't know when this AI bubble is going to burst, but it's definitely not going to last that long. Like, it can't just be good enough. It has to be ubiquitous. It has to be everywhere. Everybody has to be using it at all times. Which is why if you open up your goddamn phone, they're always just going to be like, hey guys, look. The new Google Pixel, it has your AI assistant. It's like, oh man, I definitely need an AI assistant, don't I? Because I certainly can't use my fucking phone without talking to some sort of... And we had that before the term AI even came into, you know, like what the fuck was Alexa and all these previous things as well? Why are we calling it an AI assistant now? Pretending like we didn't have this 10 years ago. You could already talk to your phone and get it to do shit. But like all these tech companies are trying to pretend that it's something new. The AI bubble will burst sooner than the .com bubble? I guess. Who knows? There's so many layers of bullshit going on, and so many people have invested heavily trying to believe that it won't burst. For one, I am not investing any of my money in the stock market right now. That's all I can say for sure. Great usages such as Siri, fuck you. Really the only usages for these things is having simulated sex with them. Siri, suck my cock now. People are gonna fuck those AI robots for sure. I mean, every AI chatbot is just people having phone sex with it. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream here. See you around, guys. Have fun fucking your AI chatbots. I gotta make some meatloaf. That's my job for today. Making meatloaf. Good night, guys. See you around.